Hey everyone, it's Josh. The question has often been asked of me because I spent a lot of years in the streets on and off as a homeless man. I've lived under bridges, cheap motels, all that sort of stuff, and I did that for 10 years, over 10 years. And I finally settled down here in Ames at the very end of 2014, early 2015, or actually mid 2015 now that I think about it. So people ask me, since I was in the streets so long, was it hard to get used to having a normal, steady place to live? And how long did it take me to sort of get used to the fact that I do, in fact, have a steady place to live and that I'm safe and I'm comfortable and all that sort of stuff? Um, and the answer is it took me quite a long time. Uh, I remember when I first got accepted to Iowa State, and then I remember uh, moving in with Haverkamp Properties here. This was in 2015. And I remember it just took me a long time to really fully realize that this place was going to be there for me the next day and the day after and the day after and so on. You know what I mean? It took me a long time to realize that I'm safe, that I don't have to wake up when at every loud sound, that I don't really have to watch my back like I was watching my back before in my own house. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a while to realize that I can actually be comfortable. I would say it took me a good 3 years to really fully um, tell my subconscious that I actually have a real home because you teach yourself to be vigilant at all times when you're in the streets and be ready for danger at all times and all that sort of stuff. And so it took a while for that to sort of dissipate in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not in my conscience, but in my subconscious. You know what I'm saying? Or not even really the subconscious, but whatever is in between your full conscience and your subconscious, whatever they call that brain. You know what I mean? That's the brain that needed to get used to having a safe place to come back to every night. So yeah, it took a while. It really did. Because when you're used to a certain lifestyle, a certain way of living, it's just what you know. It's just like, let's think of the reverse of this. Let's think of somebody that grew up as a millionaire, right? But for whatever reason, he loses all his money. Maybe all his stocks go uh, crash, or the stocks he owns crashes, or whatever it is. And now he has to live in the streets, or at least as a poor man. Um, it's going to take him like a really long time to figure out how to live as a poor man and to really just even get used to it because he's so used to the complete opposite lifestyle, right? So it's the same thing with me in reverse. I was so used to living a street lifestyle. I didn't really know nothing else. And you got to understand too, when I was a kid, my lifestyle wasn't all that different. We moved around a whole lot. My family moved around a lot. I was never really in one place for too long as a kid and as a young adult. So I was never, in my whole life, I've never really had like a steady place, right? There is no one place I can truly say, man, that was my home. That was my true childhood home growing up or whatever. I never lived anywhere for more than 2 years, really. And really, most places I didn't live more than 6 months or a year. This is before my homeless days. So I've been something of a vagabond my whole life. This living situation I have here at Haverkamp, I've been here 7 years. By far the longest stretch of living in one place I've ever done. By far. It's not even close. Or at least from age like 11 or 12 on. From the age of 7 to about the age of 12, I lived in one house. But other than that, I was constantly moving around house to house, friend to friend. Parents always moving too. So, I mean, it was just, that's what it was. That's what it's been my whole life. And so when I went homeless, I guess I didn't really have to get used to the traveling part of being homeless and the going from town to town part of being homeless because I'd already did that as a kid. I just had to get used to not sleeping in a safe environment every night. So, but yeah, it took me a while to get used to it. I don't even think I'm still totally used to it, although I'm comfortable with it and I've been comfortable with it for a while. Like I'm not looking forward to going back into the streets if I ever go back. But yeah, it took me a minute. It really took me a minute. You know what I mean? You top 10 years of homelessness with the fact that I really didn't have a steady childhood and I've never known stability, really. So, yeah, it took me a while to get used to this. I hope that answers your question.